What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're out at Franklin Park and we have the new Latitude 64 Royal Box. And so we have the Brave, the Mighty, Grace, and the Fire. We also have the Hope. That's going to be our putting putter for the day. But this new clear plastic should be a little bit more stiff than the other run of plastic. And so we'll see how it stacks up. Let's get right to it.
Throw the Simon line. Yes. Go in.
Here we go, we got the Mighty. I dropped a video with Iceberg TV the other week, so if you haven't watched that, go ahead and check that out. I was loving this Mighty, so hopefully it's flying similar today. Let's do it. Whoa. Whew. All right, so now we have the Brave, all right. I think this thing is a little bit flippier than some previous runs of Braves. Let's put it on a little bit of hyzer and see what she does. Woo! That thing is definitely flippier than the other Braves that I've thrown in the past. That was a pretty steep amount of hyzer. It flipped up in a hurry and then kept getting that pretty big push to the right, but still had some of that fade just at the end. Let's go with the Fire. Here we go. Let's get a little lefty pull in. Let's go for it with the Mighty. This Mighty was absolutely smacked. My furthest drive on this hole, and so that is awesome. Getting a lot of that forward push, whole lot of distance out of it. Let's go ahead and grab our Hope and get up and down. Love that little flip and just, ooh, almost placed it in the basket. Let's go. Here we go. The Mighty is a really good example of throwing 7 speeds for more of that control as opposed to throwing a driver. At the point that I can get 400, 430 feet plus out of a 7-speed, why would I feel the need to throw a faster disc? I feel like you throw faster discs and there's just much more room for error. And so you get a little too stable and the result is gonna be much worse. And so really loving the Mighty. It is fantastic. I believe it's gonna be a 7-speed disc, but super enjoyable. Somewhat similar to kind of like a FD2, but I think it has a tack more flip than that. Here we go, we're on the next hole. Can't quite see the basket out there. Probably about 270, 280, something like that. So let's go ahead, grab our Hope, give it a little bit of that height and kind of just let it work its way slowly to the right. Here we go, let's try the Fire on a forehand here. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Got the Fire and the Hope. These things both gave the basket a run, just a hair long. All right, we have somewhat of a challenging hole here. The basket is pretty much dead ahead, perched up on the hill. It's a 327-foot par 3, but you have this line of trees to contend with. You could go right side. I generally tend to go left and pretty high and just let the disc keep working to the right. And so I think the Brave is probably going to be the best option for this. very similar shots here. We have the Mighty that finished on the left, and then we have our Brave that finished on the right. Here we go. We finally have a good chance to really give this Grace a rip here. It's a 650-foot hole. Try and lay into this thing flat and at least get, you know, a good flight out of this thing. It's pretty stable for what it is, but let's go ahead and give this thing a rip. There we go. Oh yeah, I mean, that was honestly just the perfect flight I was looking for out of that thing all day. So finally hit the shape I wanted and love the flight on it. Let's go for the big hyzer line.
Throw the Simon line. Yes. Go in.
Oh!
No way, dude.
Let's go!
That's insane.
That was sick! Alright guys, well that's going to wrap up today's video. We have the prototype Fire right here. This thing is like a more overstable truss. Fairly similar in profile, and so I think that this is going to be a nice, fairly enjoyable disc. Nice little overstable, you know, 4 or 5 speed, something like that. But it was good to throw. Definitely more overstable than expected, which I thought was a good thing. And then we have the Zero Medium Hope right here. The hand feel on this is pretty nice. Gummy, a little bit tacky, and like kind of nice and bendy, which is good. Kind of for a nice slow, soft approach disc. Not gonna kind of run away from you too much. Kind of just sat down. This disc was a little bit on the flippier side. Really just threw on a little bit of that hyzer. You can get some pretty straight shots out of this thing, and so really enjoyed that. And then we have the new clear plastic. This Grace was definitely more stable than previous runs, but still enjoyable to throw. I was able to get some nicely shaped shots out of it, throw it flat, gets a little bit of that flit pushed to the right, but then it's consistently going to come back. And then the disc of the day for me, once again, the Mighty. This is a 7-speed disc that flies like an 11-speed, you know? All the benefits of throwing a fairway with the distance of a much faster driver. And so I loved throwing this thing today. Put this thing on hyzer, gets a good amount of that push to the right, and this thing has a lot of glide. So super, super fun disc to throw. I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be throwing this. And then we have the Brave. This disc was just a little bit too flippy for me, but I could see it for very specific shapes or shots out on the course. But for me, I need a little bit of height to get this thing to do what it wants to do. It simply is going to flip and move right at my arm speed, and doesn't really have much stability to it at all. I could see for a little bit slower arm speed it being, you know, a fantastic hyzer flip disc to straight. But overall, I think Latitude killed it with their clear plastic and the Royal box. And so really fun day throwing discs. Shout out to Disc Golf Deals USA. You can use my link in the description to get 10% off on your purchase. Thanks to all the sponsors, and that's gonna wrap up today's video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.